So, what if I told you that one of the biggest business opportunities of the next decade has nothing to do with tech and everything to do with, say, your local park? We're talking about a real, hands-on role in the new green economy, one that puts you right at the center of where profit meets the planet.
Let's just start with this simple question. What if that little patch of woods behind your favorite coffee shop was actually a new kind of gold mine? And no, I'm not talking about cutting them down, not at all. I'm talking about getting paid for proving they exist, proving they're healthy, and proving they're doing what they do best, pulling carbon right out of the air.
And look, this isn't some pie-in-the-sky idea for the future. This is a real, present-day opportunity. We're literally talking about a business where you get paid to count carbon. And for any savvy entrepreneur out there, well, this is a space you're definitely going to want to watch.
Okay, so to really get why this is such a huge opportunity, we first have to understand the problem. And that problem, well, it lives right inside the carbon credit market, where there's this fundamental, massive gap.
Now, you've probably heard of carbon credits, right? The simple version is companies that create emissions can buy these credits to offset their environmental impact. Each credit represents 1 ton of CO2 that's been removed from the atmosphere, usually by enormous projects like massive reforestation efforts.
And this right here, this is where our business idea is born. See, the entire carbon credit system, as it stands today, is built for giants. It is incredibly expensive and super complicated for any project to get certified, which basically locks out everyone except the biggest players.
So you end up with this huge divide. On one side, you've got the Goliaths, the big corporations with their massive projects. But on the other side, you've got the little guys. Think about a small organic farm or that nonprofit that maintains the local park. They're all sequestering carbon, creating real, tangible value. But they are completely locked out of this market. They have no easy way to prove their impact, and because of that, no way to get paid for it. And that is where you come in. Let's shift to the solution and see how this whole thing turns into a business. Your role is to be the carbon auditor. You become the bridge that finally connects all these small-scale environmental actions to actual large-scale economic rewards.
Now, the official title, if you want to get fancy, is a carbon sequestration auditor. It just means you're an expert who can measure, verify, and then create a report on the amount of carbon these smaller projects are successfully pulling out of the air and storing.
But let's forget the fancy title for a second. The easiest way to think about it is this. You're part detective, part translator. You're the detective who goes out and uncovers the hidden environmental value on a piece of land. And then you're the translator who converts that value into the only language the market understands, a credible, data-backed report. So, what does a day in the life actually look like? Well, you're not stuck behind a desk, that's for sure. You're out in the field, auditing a property's carbon inventory. That means hands-on work. You're measuring trees, taking soil samples to check their carbon content, and analyzing all the different types of vegetation. Then you plug all that data into some specialized software, which is getting easier and more accessible all the time, to generate that credible, all-important report.
And that certified audit that you create? It's not just a report, it's the golden ticket. It's the key that unlocks this entire system for all those smaller players who, until now, have been completely shut out.
Because with your report in hand, that small farm can now walk into a local company and say, look, we have verifiably captured X tons of carbon. Would you like to buy these credits? And just like that, a patch of trees goes from being a maintenance cost to a revenue stream. And eco-friendly farming practice becomes a real, sellable asset. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. This sounds great, but how do you actually start? And you're right, this isn't a business you can just launch overnight. But the path to get there is becoming clearer every single day. Let's break it down into 3 steps. First, education. You got to know your stuff. Look into certifications for things like greenhouse gas accounting. Second, start small and local. Offer to do a pro bono audit for a community garden or a land trust. That'll build your portfolio and create an amazing case study. And third, build your toolkit. This means physical tools, like soil testing kits, but also digital ones, like subscriptions to satellite imagery services. All right, let's just zoom out for a second and look at the really big picture here. Because what we're talking about is so much more than just another consulting gig. This is where profit and planet finally, truly come together. When it all comes down to it, your role is to be an enabler, in the absolute best sense of the word. You are the one who makes it possible for the little guys, the small landowners, the nonprofits, to finally get paid for doing the right thing for our environment. And that right there is the ultimate value proposition. This is a business where your financial success, your bottom line, is directly and quantifiably tied to the health of the planet. The more successful you are, the more good is being done.
Look, in an economy that is demanding both profit and purpose more and more, this isn't just a feel-good idea. It is a fundamentally sound, brilliant business model. So the real question isn't whether this is a valuable service. The real question is, are you going to be one of the people to provide it?